You see her walking down the boulevard. She got the posture of a superstar. She looks so fly in those Gucci slides. Yeah, yeah, I wonder what she hides under her disguise. Yeah, 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 yeah. And all the girls around the world, they wanna be it. And all the dudes are trying to score like it's fever. She lives a double life, puts on a show. What's under this subtle smile, we'll never know. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something about her features. You'll find her beauty goes much deeper once you get to meet her.
Let me paint a picture. I see they don't understand. Feeling like Picasso. She brushing against my hands. Seen you from around the way. You didn't give me the time of day. You be making moves that yeah, who really care what Simon say? All the bad things, girl, I had to look past that. Call yourself a dime, I'm just trying to get my cash back. You be looking fine, so no wonder they can't match that. Louis V scarf, or I'm chilling with a dad hat. Whoa, slow it down like that. Just hold me down like that. Yeah.
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something about her features. You'll find her beauty goes much deeper once you get to meet her. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something about her features. You'll find her beauty goes much deeper once you get to meet her. She's a Mona Lisa.
There's something about the way that you understand. We don't need a rush and we don't need to make no plan. You say, pace yourself, slow it down. And I don't want to waste my days with no one else. I love how it feels. Killing time, you and I. Hours, minutes, days and nights. Trading all of our deadlines for conversations over wine. Killing time, you and I. In this moment we're alive, infatuated with your eyes and the way they look at mine when we're killing time. There's something about the way you talk with your hand. The way that you say my name when nobody's there. No, no. You say it's alright, take your space if you need a break. And if I need to disconnect, that's okay. This ain't no race. Killing time, you and I, hours, minutes, days and nights, trading all of our deadlines for conversations over wine.
Hello there, hello there, hello there. YouTube's, Twitch's, all the rest of it. You've seen the pig, so it's the intro. It's the intro for the happy hour, and classically so. You join me, Kevin Logan, in Covidius Albion, and joining me, it's the murderer of Savaris, who's now joining the Stasi or some shit. It's Dr. Kristi Winters.
Never trust Kevin's retelling of any of my D&D stuff. Yeah, my character Savaris. Last night she RIP'd. She's gone. And I don't even know why I bother to tell Kevin because he just mocks me about it anyway. But yeah, for those of you who played D&D and had a character go down, you know what it's like. Anyway.
Well, Kristi's character went down. Yes, that is.
Yes. Well, it wasn't the first time, but it was permanent this time.
Yeah. So, that's the show. That's the news for everyone. In respect of Shavaris, we're going to end the show now. Bye.
Anyway, what we should be actually celebrating is Happy Black History Month, Kev.
Yes. Finally, my people have got a History Month. Because
Wow,
you might think, Kev, you're white, but I just play a white man on the internet. So
yeah, okay. So first, it's the Jewish, the Star of David, the Death Star, and now it's you're like identifying as a black man. Is this really where you're going to go with this?
This the Death Star of David. It's a running joke, Kristi. It's from last time.
It is. We did see that comment on Twitter.
And who wants to be white anyway? Like who's like yay whiteness?
Well, Carl, the two Joeys.
Yeah. So,
but
taking a leaf out of Carl's book, I can just pretend to have a black granddad.
There you go.
Fuck it, why not? It's fine apparently.
Yeah, just show your dad with a not at all a tan, and then sometimes a tan.
My dad's Irish. He doesn't tan. He becomes like a fucking lobster. He
Right, 'cause
turns
he's Irish,
bright
yeah.
pink and peels like a fucking gecko.
Yeah. So what are you doing for Black History Month?
Black
I think
stuff.
we should do something.
Just some black stuff, I think.
I try, and you just.
What do you want me to fucking do for Black History Month? I'm gonna go and suck off the corpse of MLK. What do you want me to do?
Okay, I was just thinking, I don't know, like make an effort to include some Black History Month tweets in your bookmarks.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean,
Maybe I'll do that.
that's less illegal
Less
than
illegal.
desecrating a corpse.
Well, you say desecrating a corpse, Kristi. I would take it to heaven.
Okay, let's move on. I don't want to have this conversation.
Okay. My head skills can cure the dead. Wow. Okay.
Wow,
This
you
conversation went
really-
to a place.
Yeah, you're gonna get a reputation. You're gonna need like that little Dickie song. You're gonna need like a sign-up sheet, you know, for in half-hour blocks. You know.
Anyway, they don't call me dislocated jaw for nothing. They don't call me that at all, but you know.
So should we tie this into your visual reference to the ridiculousness of the woman?
Oh, the noxious MTG.
Yes.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Well, before we even get to her, Kristi, there's another anti-Semite who we need to talk about first.
Oh, okay. Oh, we have to line them up today, huh?
Yeah, exactly. We've got to talk about Mike Lindell.
Oh, yes.
Because this was the funniest shit. Like,
this was amazing. I agree.
Is this the most important news story of the year? No. Is it the most important news story of any time ever? No.
Even of this week.
But to quote JFK, we don't start with this because it's easy. We start with it because it's hard not to.
This is, yes, it is a highlight, even though it's not important.
Yeah.
And all I have to say is enjoy.
Yeah. So,
I guess you want the background for this? Should we just kind of remind people
Mike Lindell,
of the legal situation here?
who, even though he sells good pillows, is a pain in the neck. You're very welcome.
Uh-huh.
Very welcome. And, he's the My Pillow twat, who is so far up Trump's arse he can taste his liver. He's just one of the wackiest motherfuckers in the world. Like, he's obsessed. I don't know, is it possible for him to talk about anything without talking about election fraud?
No, he was the guy who, when he went to visit the White House, they took a picture of his notes and it was talking about like military involvement in declaring martial law to keep the election results from being authorized.
And talking of mental White House meetings, more on that later.
Oh, yes, definitely.
That will make up the bulk
case,
of the show, I think.
Yeah, so Dominion is suing the fuck, I think is a technical term, out of everybody who's been lying on them on media. And Newsmax, Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, Lin Wood. Did Fox News get anything?
Fox News are being sued, I believe, yes. And the thing is, Mike Lindell is presumably personally wealthy enough that it would hurt him, but he would survive it. Whereas Newsmax definitely wouldn't. One American News definitely wouldn't. I don't think even Fox News could.
Yes.
Rudy Giuliani can't.
They are being sued for defamation. And they've already gone groveling with their retraction.
They are. and not just that, but their retraction that gets repeated in a second. And this is so beautiful because this clip from, I think, yesterday or the day before, is of conservatives cancelling a conservative whilst talking to that conservative about how leftists are in fact cancelling conservatives.
Yes. Oh, so did you want to get your cock out?
I'll get my cock out.
It's time? Okay.
Logan's amazing conservatives of cancel culture. Cocks and penis.
Yes. The penis is the cock is on the table. Oh, my clever joke. Oh, ruined. Anyway, Mike Lindell. Yeah, they're talking about cancel culture, and it's too juicy.
So what happened? What happened with your Twitter account and the company page?
Well, first mine was taken down because we have all the election fraud with these Dominion machines. We have 100% proof. And then when they took it down about 3 weeks ago, and then when I put it back up, my personal, it was a
Mike, thank you very much. Mike, you're talking about machines that we at Newsmax have not been able to verify any of.
What about his First Amendments, Kristi?
Yes, what about his First Amendment right to defame people and get these guys involved and financially liable for his
frozen peaches are melting.
Those kinds of allegations, we just want to let people know that there's nothing substantive that we've seen. And let me read you something there. While there were some clear some cases of vote fraud and election irregularities, the election results in every state were certified, and Newsmax accepts the results as legal and final. The courts have also supported that view.
Oh, they've changed their tune, haven't they?
Oh, they have. It's amazing how money focuses the mind.
Yeah, a lot of people are thinking, "Ooh, maybe we shouldn't have lied." Look, in the short term, it was a good business model. In the long term, it might be a fatal one.
Yes.
Anyway, let's continue because having already talked over him, it just carries on.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
So we wanted to talk to you about canceling culture, if you will. We don't want to relitigate the allegations that you're making, Mike, because we understand where you are. So let me ask you this. Do you think that this should be temporary because it appears to be permanent? Could you make an argument that it is temporary?
Did you understand a word that just got spoken in that 30-second run?
Well, I focused on the guy who I could hear more clearly, who was the news reader. Yeah. But yeah, old Mike Lindell is in the back like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Yeah, true.
On the internet feed.
Correct.
What?
Could you make an argument that this could be a temporary banning rather than permanent?
Also, watch. It's so intoxicating once you realise it. Mike Lindell does this weird thing when he's not talking of licking his lips every 2 seconds. It's so gross. It's horrible.
Like a lizard.
I want it to be a permanent because you know what? They did this because I'm revealing all the evidence on Friday of all the election fraud.
Oh, Friday's the new date.
Yes.
They've had 3 fucking months, but Friday's the new date. They're definitely going to produce all of the evidence. Okay.
Yep.
These machines. So I'm sorry if you think it's not
Mike,
real.
Can I ask our producers, can we get out of here, please? I don't want to have to keep going over this.
Actually,
we at Newsmax have not been able to verify any of those allegations that you're...
Mike, hold on a second. Everybody hold on a second. Mike, hold on 1 second.
Look, he just gets up and fucking leaves.
That's even better. They cut to an empty chair.
In terms of censorship.
Trying to cancel out my company and myself in this country. It's cancel culture.
They cut fucking empty chair, man.
Yeah.
Permanent. Could you make an argument that it is temporary?
What? With these machines. So I'm sorry if you think...
Okay, I don't want to have to keep going over this. We at Newsmax have not been able to verify any of those allegations that you're...
Mike, hold on a second. Everybody hold on a second. Mike, hold on 1 second. Let's talk a little bit about just what is happening.
There we go. There's the money shot. Just a fucking empty chair. God, it's beautiful.
So good.
Absolutely beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so that's the top story of the day.
Yep, that's the most enjoyable one.
Indeed.
For Schadenfreude. 10 on 10.
Yeah.
For Schadenfreude.
Yes. And talking of election fraud, we'll stick with that concept because, you know, the old adage about Trump that you just accuse your opponent of that which you're guilty of because it's just projection on projection on projection. It turns out Lin Wood, you know, the crazy motherfucker, he's under investigation for voting illegally.
You're like, I can't handle this much, just like Sugar Rush on this. Like the irony of this is so rich for my blood. I can't handle it.
It's ridiculous. Though American conservatism, especially, but conservatism around the world, it would appear, has I've complained for a long time, gone beyond satire because you literally can't. Like, it's so stupid. A man whose entire sold his life has lost contact with his children. No one likes him.
Yeah.
Literally, virtually every motherfucker in the world thinks he should be sectioned, frankly, other than, unfortunately, those who section people, because of election fraud. And yet, projection, it appears he's registered in South Carolina. But voted in Georgia, which is where he was born and raised and where he claims to be from. But it would appear he's registered in a different state.
Oh, please do read on. Please.
Although, of course, for legal reasons, he's denying the claims, blah, 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 whatever. Atlanta, which is in Georgia. Not South Carolina. Note that. He has been one of the most vocal and visible controversial critics of the integrity of Georgia's election. Attorney, Lin Wood, filed lawsuits and held rallies claiming people voted illegally in the 2020 presidential election. Now, Channel 2, which is an Atlanta-based local news thing, investigative reporter Justin Gray has learned that the state has launched an official investigation into whether Wood himself was a legal Georgia voter. Gray confirmed Tuesday that the Georgia Secretary of State's office has launched an investigation into whether Judge Wood was eligible to vote in Georgia, whether he broke the law by casting his ballot, and whether he was actually a Georgia resident. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Quote, "It's 1776 in America, and we're not going to let them take our freedom," unquote, Wood said in December, claiming the presidential election in Georgia was stolen because of illegal voters. Sources at the Secretary of State's office... Why was that stanza in there?
Yeah,
That's
it was
weird.
unnecessary.
Sources at the Secretary... It's local, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sources at the Secretary of State's office say an email that Wood sent to Gray caused them to launch an official investigation.
It's nothing like... This is his own version of what the insurrectionists did. He actually, like, here, investigate me.
Amazing. In the email, Wood confirmed he moved to South Carolina, writing, quote, I have been domiciled in South Carolina for several months after purchasing property in the state in April, unquote, which is significantly before November of last year.
Right.
You'll notice.
Yes.
Now state election investigators are looking into whether that means Wood legally should not have been able to vote in the November election. They cite a section of Georgia code that reads, quote, if a person removes to another state with the intention of making it such person's residence, such person shall be considered to have lost such person's residence in the state, unquote. So basically, he moved to South Carolina, still voted in Georgia. It would appear. I mean, again, that's Wood's own word says he moved in fucking April.
Yeah, I've been domiciled in South Carolina.
Yeah.
He's an attorney.
He's a really, really bad attorney.
He's a terrible attorney.
Fuck me, who would hire this piece of... Oh, Sidney Powell did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gray has reported in the past the Secretary of State's office has assigned 23 investigators to 130 separate cases of possible wrongdoing in the November election. Now sources confirm to Gray that they have also assigned a post-certified investigator to see if Wood, who filed numerous lawsuits challenging Georgia's election, broke the law himself by casting his ballot. Wowza. Wood sent a statement to Gray late Tuesday evening saying, quote, I have been a resident of the state of Georgia since 1955. I changed my residency to South Carolina yesterday.
Yesterday?
Okay, well, you said April back here, but okay, well...
Domiciled there since April.
This is pure harassment by the Georgia Secretary of State because I have revealed credible evidence of election fraud on the part of Brad Raffensperger.
Oh, good.
Wood did say that he did not vote in the January runoff because he said it was not a legitimate election. And he was a resident in South Carolina anyway. Yeah. I added that last bit, but, you know. Yeah, so it turns out
this space.
Mr. Illegal Voting was illegally voting.
Yes, this is amazing. This is amazing. Like, season 6, people are like, this is ridiculous. This didn't really happen, right?
Yeah,
when they watch
exactly.
this in
the
50
latest
years.
season of Trump it's a bit on the nose.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like the writers gave up on subtlety, and they're just like, let's just do the most straight and your face comeuppance you can do.
It's a bit unobtainium.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit like I can fill in the gaps myself. You don't need to spoon feed me the narrative, okay? Jesus Christ. It's just unbelievable. No wonder his fucking clown car legal team fell apart. Fucking hell. Anyway.
Oh, right. If you look at what Trump's attorneys filed, did you see the document that they filed in response?
Where they said he
misspelled?
Was former president of the United States.
Yes, they misspelled United States.
If Sidney Powell ends up having written that document, I swear to God, I'm going to cut off my legs or something. I just absolutely fucking insane stuff. Anyway, so moving on to another idiot, right?
Yeah, because stuff has happened since we covered her.
Stuff has happened.
Comments last time.
By the way, I looked at what Melon Larbe is, the thing on the mask, because I was like, what the fuck is that? Is that like an American thing? No, it goes back to the Battle of Thermopylae, the 300 Spartans.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Yeah, when Xerxes asks Leonidas for his troops to just lay down their weapons. And then they can walk free, and he'll give them a pardon or whatever. And Melon Larbe is the very short, laconic, quite literally, because they're Spartans, response of "come and take them."
Right.
So meaning guns. Yeah,
this is the same sort of pretensions as when Carl tries to do a lecture on Locke's second treatise on government.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Embarrassing. Although it's better certainly than the other one they're doing where they've got a mask with the word useless on it, because that means you're then walking around with the word useless on your face, which is like a thumbnail I would create to mock you, but you've done it for yourself. Anyway. So, unfortunately, it says she's facing expulsion. Unfortunately, the getting rid of her from Congress, unless she's found to have committed federal crimes involved in the 6th, which the investigation will hopefully find, it seems unlikely. But
right, that headline is misleading.
It's a little bit misleading.
Yeah.
But, she's going to be, it seems, ousted from her position on the education board, which is good, because obviously she was. She said that Sandy Hook was a false flag, and that the Parkland shooting was a false flag, amongst many other claims, 9/11 trutherism and all the rest of it. So she shouldn't be on the fucking education committee anyway, should she?
Well, no, but this has revealed a very interesting split within the GOP on the Hill, which I don't know if you want me to reference or you're going to read the article if it's covered in there.
Well, no, I just brought it up as like the visual image and the headline.
Okay. Oh, right. Oh, okay. I see. Okay. Yeah, because of course.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, Kevin McCarthy has been covering for her. He was the one who approved her appointment to these 2 committees, including education. Yeah. And he's not been out there condemning her or pressuring her or anything like that. But since the last time we had a show, Mitch McConnell came out and basically said, not naming her, but said that these sort of conspiracy theories and lies are a cancer on the GOP.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he's kind of drawing a line in the sand, and Steny Hoyer is working on having the Democrats, if Kevin McCarthy won't take her off these committees, the Democrats are going to take her off these committees because they have the votes to do so. And so you've got Mitch McConnell pressuring Kevin McCarthy and the Democrats, pressuring Kevin McCarthy. And now it's up to see what's he going to do? Who does he really stand with? His own party or the cultists?
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good question. Yeah, but as always, you can tell actually from the quote about it being a cancer on the GOP exactly where their priorities lie, because he didn't say it was a cancer on America because he doesn't give a fuck about America. It's a cancer on the GOP, and the same is true with them. Apparently they're meeting today to potentially remove her without the need for a vote, because if the vote happens, she's getting removed, right?
Yes.
But I think McCarthy and the leadership in the House, House of Representatives, are worried about the PR aspect of being removed, via vote. Whereas if they kind of quietly shuffle her off to the side, that would probably be best. But again, I know we don't live in a fairyland where it's all sugar lumps and rainbows and politicians act in entirely ethical ways. But there comes a point where Jewish space laser woman can fuck off. I don't give a fuck about your optics about the GOP and having a vote. Get the fuck rid of her. What the fuck is wrong with you? You can't claim to be this is the party that'll say because we support Israel, we support the Jews, which, by the way, supporting or conflating Israel with all Jewish people in the world is incredibly anti-Semitic. Don't do that. But regardless, you can't claim to be for the Jews and have Jewish space laser woman.
Right.
That's
on your
not
team.
Congruous.
Yes.
In Congress. There you go.
Yeah, Congress.
So yeah, hopefully she gets removed. Although it's unlikely she's going to be removed from the House. But if she gets ostracized, that's something, I suppose. Yeah,
Steve King lost his committee assignments finally after decades. But the other side of this, sort of the Janus head coin of this Republican fight, is that Liz Cheney is still being attacked, and her leadership position is being called into question because she voted in a free vote in order to impeach Trump. So the daughter of the former vice president of the old establishment Bush dynasty political family, right? Their associations there with almost political right-wing royalty back in the day. And yet she is being attacked by these cultists. And so the kind of mirror images of who Liz Cheney is in the Republican Party and who noxious MTG is in the party really sum up the conflict.
True, although also fuck Lin Cheney as well.
Well, yeah. No, I'm not defending her. I'm doing a political analysis of the kinds of tensions of ideologies and power struggles currently at play in the GOP.
Quite so.
Yeah.
Quite so. Yeah. Well, because it's become, to a large extent, the Trump party.
Yes.
How successfully can they extricate themselves from that swamp, which will determine their long-term viability?
Yeah, I mean, from the outside, I, of course, would just, get me more popcorn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Up.
Yeah. I can't remember, someone on Twitter made the great analogy. Yeah, hold on to that fucking what you call it, anchor. Hold on to the anchor, GOP, and just sink further. That's fine.
Yeah, she'll take you all down with her.
Yeah,
she's happy to.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, she thinks there's a fucking cabal of pedophiles, which, I mean, she's been on the Hill long enough now to know that that isn't true. So whether she ever did believe it or not, she must now know, oh, it's mostly votes on appropriations bills for fishing subsidies. Like, it's really boring. It's the job of a politician is largely paper pushing, meeting with, fucking committees and lobbyists and stuff. It's intensely boring. And
lots
in America, especially,
yeah.
fundraising, yeah.
Like quarter of your time or something is spent raising money for yourself or your committee.
Exactly. So it's fucking boring. Like, I understand the thrill to some extent of like, oh, it's like a fucking Bourne novel or something. Like it's this incredible cabal of powerful blah 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 blah. But actually, it's mostly boring as fuck. Especially if you're not like if you're Mitch McConnell, maybe it is you're meeting with the president and you're doing this. But if you're just a regular House member,
yep, just sit through hours and hours of committee
meetings. Your body to be whipped through the right lobby. That's it.
Yeah, you're a sausage making machine. You churn out legislation.
Yeah,
that's your job.
Most of them would be more productive being actual sausage makers, though. To be fair. Anyway. Talking of actual crazy cabals of lunatics, should we get on to the dumbest meeting in the history of mankind? Oh,
yes, the Axios article. This is a piece of, like, probably should be nominated for some sort of award, I think.
Well, if you're not like Kristi and you actually watch my show, yeah, that's right, I'm calling you out, motherfucker.
I take nights off of YouTube, yes.
How dare you? YouTube is the real world, Kristi. Didn't you know?
Right now it is. Yeah.
So I covered a bit of this yesterday, but it felt a bit weird to do a full read through when I was like chopping between this and like, oh, AOC was doing a thing. Yeah, if you'd seen the AOC revelations, they're quite grim. Anyway, this was wowza. How do you want to do this?
Let's see. Well, do you want me to be like the narrator?
I don't.
And then you can get, or do you want to? Well, we could just kind of sum it up, maybe taking turns.
No.
What do you want to?
Which bits do you want to read? God damn it.
Well, why do you say that then? I don't know. The fourth bit. What you want to do sections like where the
exactly.
bolding
okay.
is?
We go highlighted bit to highlighted bit. Okay, like the bold. Okay. So this is a meeting between Trump and Sidney Powell and Mike Flynn and various other folks. It's mental.
Do you want me to go first because you were reading? All right. Just had to clear my throat. Don't move the no. Can't make it bigger. Make it bigger. I can't see that. That's really small font. 4 conspiracy theorists marched into the Oval Office. It was early evening on Friday, December 18th, more than a month after the election had been declared for Joe Biden, and 4 days after the Electoral College met in every state to make it official. How the hell did Sidney get in the building? White House advisor Eric Hirschman grumbled from the outer Oval Office as Sidney Powell and her entourage strutted by to visit the president. President Trump's private schedule hadn't included appointments for Powell or the other former national security advisor. Others, Michael Flynn, former Overstock.com CEO Patrick Byrne, and little-known former Trump administration official Emily Newman. But they'd come to convince Trump that he had the power to take extreme measures to keep fighting. As Powell and the others entered the Oval Office that evening, Hirschman, a wealthy business executive and former partner at Kasowitz, Benson, and Torres, who'd been pulled out of a quasi-retirement to advise Trump, quietly slipped in behind them.
Giggity. The 2 hours to come would pit the insurgent conspiracists against a handful of White House lawyers and advisors determined to keep the president from giving in to temptation to invoke emergency national security powers, seize voting machines, and disable the primary levers of American democracy. Hirschman took a seat in a yellow chair close to the doorway. Powell, Flynn, Newman, and Byrne sat in a row behind the resolute desk facing the president. For weeks now, ever since Rudy Giuliani had commandeered Trump's floundering campaign to overturn the election, outsiders had been out had been coming out of the woodwork to feed the president wild allegations of voter fraud based on highly dubious sources.
Trump was no longer focused on any semblance of a governing agenda.
Which,
instead,
just to interrupt and give a little bit of nonsense there. We were saying that, weren't we? Look, he'd stopped trying to be president after the election.
Yeah,
completely.
He just zoned out. He had senioritis. Instead of spending his days taking phone calls and meetings from anyone armed with spending his days taking phone calls and meetings from anyone armed with conspiracy theories about the election. For the White House staff, it was an unending sea of garbage churned up by the bottom feeders. Powell began this meeting with the same baseless claim that now has her facing a $1.3 billion defamation lawsuit. She told the president that Dominion voting systems had rigged their machines to flip votes from Trump to Biden, and that it was part of an international communist plot to steal the election for the Democrats. Powell waved an affidavit from the pile of papers in her lap, claiming it contained testimony from someone involved in the development of rigged voting machines in Venezuela.
Venezuela! By the way, I also like this. Is the note is from Sidney Powell, where she says that you should look at mainstream media reports with a healthy dose of skepticism, which, considering the claims she's made, you should look at your own stuff with a healthy dose of skepticism, Sidney?
Yes.
She proposed declaring a national security emergency.
Oh, my God.
Granting her and her cabal top-secret security clearances and using the US government to seize Dominion voting machines.
Hold on a minute, Sidney.
Hirschman interrupted from the back of the Oval.
You're part of the Rudy team, right? Is your theory that the Democrats got together and changed the rules? Or is it that you were foreign interference in our election?
That's how Hirschman speaks. Giuliani's legal efforts, while replete with debunked claims about voter fraud, had largely focused on allegations of misconduct by corrupt Democrats and election officials.
It's foreign interference,
Powell insisted, and then added,
Rudy hasn't understood what this case is about until just now.
In disbelief, Hirschman yelled to an aide out in the Oval Office. Fuck's sake, hang on.
Get Pat down here immediately.
Several minutes later, White House counsel Pat Cipollone walked into the Oval Office, looked at Byrne and said, "Who are you?" That's how Pat Cipollone speaks.
All right, can you scroll up a bit? Because the next one's pretty short. I'll do the next two. Yeah?
Okay.
The meeting was already getting heated. White House staff had spent weeks poring over the evidence underlying hundreds of affidavits and other claims of fraud promoted by Trump allies like Powell. The team had done all the due diligence and knew the specific details of what was being alleged better than anyone. Time and time again, they found Powell's allegations fell apart under basic scrutiny. But Powell, fixing on Trump, continued to elaborate on a fantastical election narrative involving Venezuela, Iran, China, and others. She named a county in Georgia where she claimed she could prove that Dominion had illegally flipped the votes. Hirschman interrupted to point out that Trump had actually won the Georgia county in question. So your theory is that Dominion intentionally flipped votes so we would win that county?
Wow, you do a really good Hirschman.
Thanks. As for Powell's larger claims, he demanded she provide evidence for what, if true, would amount to the greatest national security breach in American history. They needed to dial in one of the campaign lawyers, Hirschman said, and Trump's campaign lawyer, Matt Morgan, was patched in via speakerphone. By now, people were yelling and cursing. The room starting to fill up. Trump's personal assistant summoned White House Staff Secretary Derek Lyons to join the meeting and asked him to bring a copy of a 2018 executive order that the Powell Group kept citing as the key to victory. Lyons agreed with Cipollone and the other officials that Powell's theories were nonsensical.
It was now 4 against 4. Flynn went berserk. That's a great sentence. The former 3-star general, whom Trump had fired as his first national security advisor after he was caught lying to the FBI and later pardoned, and was basically a spy on behalf of Turkey, it would appear. I added that bit, but it's true. Stood up and turned from the Resolute desk to face Hirschman. Oh, what does he sound like? You're quitting? You're a quitter. You're not fighting, he exploded at the senior advisor. Flynn then turned around to the president and implored, Sir, we need fighters. That's what he sounds like.
Okay.
Hirschman ignored Flynn at first and continued to probe Powell's pitch with questions about the underlying evidence. All you do is promise but never deliver.
No, he's got the lower voice.
Oh, that's Hirschman again. All you do is promise but never deliver, sucker, he said to her sharply. Flynn was ranting, seemingly infuriated about anyone challenging Powell who had represented him in his recent legal battles, which, I mean, how did that go for you dickhead? Like you were in jail.
Yeah.
Finally, Hirschman had enough. Why the fuck do you keep standing up and screaming at me? He shot back at Powell. If you want to come over here, come over here. If not, sit your ass back down, motherfucker. Flynn sat back down.
Yeah, he shot back at Flynn. Yeah. Okay. All right, can you scroll up? Thank you. The meeting had come entirely off the rails. Byrne, backed up by Flynn, told Trump the White House lawyers didn't care about him and were being obstructive. We're both entrepreneurs and we both built businesses, the former Overstock CEO told Trump. Yes. We know that there are times when you have to be creative and take different steps.
There's gold in them there machines.
This was a remarkable level of personal familiarity, given it was the first time Byrne had met the president.
Imagine that. Because this is the thing that stood out to me, right? That little comment there. The fact that these Trump cultists genuinely, they have the kind of the parasocial relationship. They think Trump is their daddy, when actually he's just some rich prick they've never met before.
I was going to get an argument. I'm just going to keep going through the argument, though, if that's okay. Cause
go for it.
Okay. All right. All the stanchions and buffers between the White House and the outside world had crumbled. Byrne kept attacking the senior White House staff in front of Trump. They've already abandoned you, he told the president aggressively. Periodically during the meeting, Flynn or Byrne challenged Trump's top staff, portraying them as disloyal. So, do you think the president won or not? At one point, with Flynn shouting, Byrne raised his hand to talk. He stood up and turned around to face Hirschman. You're a quitter, he said. You've been interfering with everything. You've been cutting us off. Do you even know?
Excuse me, that was Flynn. No, he does not sound like...
No, Byrne raised his hand to talk. He stood up.
At one point, with Flynn shouting. Sorry, this is... I'm confused because you're one of the great voice actors of your generation. Probably second only to me, I think. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. You've been cutting us off. Do you even know who the fuck I am, you idiot? Hirschman snapped back. Yeah, you're Patrick Cipollone, Byrne said. Wrong, you idiot.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's like it's like absolute fucking peak Gilgood. This. The staff were now on their feet, standing behind one of the couches and facing the Powell crew at the Resolute desk. Cipollone stood to Hirschman's left. Lyons, on the last day on the job, stood on Hirschman's right. He had 1 day to retirement. God damn it!
This next line slays me. Yeah. Go ahead.
Trump was behind the desk, watching the show. He briefly left the meeting to wander into his private dining room, where he had a fountain of Diet Coke and a mountain of fucking, I don't know,
French fries
or something.
Yeah.
The usually mild-mannered Lyons blasted the Powell set. How does Lyons sound? Did we have a Lyons voice?
No, we don't have a Lyons voice yet.
Okay.
You bought 60 cases, and you've lost every case you've had.
He's French. Trump came, but that was actually that was Rory channeling through me. Yeah. Trump came back into the Oval Office from the dining room to rejoin the meeting. See, notice how unimportant he is to the meeting. Yes. It just went on without him. Even his own nutters don't need him there. Lyons pointed out to Powell that their incompetence went beyond their lawsuits being thrown out for standing.
You somehow managed to misspell the word district 3 different ways in your suits. He said.
That's a good. Yeah, the French would be like that.
He said pointedly while smoking a Gauloise.
Yeah.
In a Georgia case, the Powell team had misidentified the court on the front page of their filing as the United States District Court, Northern District of Georgia, and they had identified the court as the Eastern District of Michigan.
District. No, I.
No. Oh yeah, District of Michigan. I'll do it. Oh, did you want? Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Go for it.
Okay. Or do you want to go longer? It's fine.
Okay. These were sloppy spelling errors, but given that these lawsuits aim to overturn a presidential election, the court nomenclature should should have been pristine. Yeah, exactly. They weren't like you in legal documents. Every I needs to be dotted and shit. It's fucking law. Anyway.
Yes.
Powell, Flynn, and Byrne began attacking Lyons as they renewed. It's like the reverse of the Colosseum. Christians attacking Lions. You see what I'm doing? I'm fucking clever. As they renewed their argument to Trump, well, I don't know which voice to do it in. There's three of them. I'm just going to do my voice. There you go again.
There they go again. They want to. We'll do it together. They want to focus on.
Well, that's just in terms of the timing, Kristi. That's going to be.
That would be terrible.
We'll try it. Bollocks to it. Right.
All right.
On three. 1, 2, 3. They were going to go again. They wanted to focus on the insignificant details
instead of fighting for you.
There you go. I hope that was completely indecipherable to you all. Trump replied, "Oh fuck's sake, I've got to do a Trump." Oh, I don't think I've ever tried a Trump. No, he's right. That was embarrassing. That shouldn't have happened. That's rubbish, but I've never tried one. So you're fired. That's what you want from me. The Powell team needed to regroup. They shifted to a new grievance to turn the conversation away from their embarrassing errors. There's so delicious little drops of shade. He's just like, just have some shade. It's lovely. Powell insisted that they hadn't lost the 60-odd court cases since the cases were mostly dismissed for lack of standing. That means you lost without even starting.
Yes.
They didn't even play the game. They just gave you the L. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, you wasted the court's time.
Yeah, and they never had the chance to present their evidence. Yes, you did, and every court went, fuck off. Every judge is corrupt, she said. We can't rely on them. The White House lawyers couldn't believe what they were hearing. That's your argument, sucker? He's turning into fucking Shaft. Oh, no. A stunned Hirschman said, even the judges we appointed? Are you out of your fucking mind? I didn't even add the F-bomb there. That's just a part of it.
Powell had more to say. She and Flynn began trashing the FBI as well, and the Justice Department under Attorney General Bill Barr, telling Trump that neither could be trusted. Both institutions, she said, were corrupt, and Trump needed to fire the leadership and get in new people he could trust. Cipollone, standing his ground amidst this mishmash of conspiracies, said they were totally wrong.
That wasn't a quote. That wasn't a quote, Kristi. Play the fucking game.
He aggressively defended the DOJ and the FBI, saying they had looked into every major claim of fraud that had been reported. Flynn and Powell had long nursed their antipathy to the FBI and justice. Flynn had pleaded guilty in 2017 to lying to the FBI during the Russia investigation.
Because he was guilty.
Twice he also confessed, but withdrew the plea after hiring Powell as his lawyer in June 2019.
Again, it went really well for him. Super job.
The two alleged the FBI had entrapped Flynn and failed to disclose exculpatory evidence known as Brady material as required by law. They had found an ally in Barr, a fierce critic of the Russian investigation, who finally directed the DOJ to drop Flynn's case. Hirschman, known inside the White House as a defender of...
The only Brady material I'm interested in is 5 rings, motherfucker. Patriots represent.
The White House as defender of Barr and the DOJ went off on Flynn again. Listen, the same people you're trashing, if they didn't produce the Brady material to Sydney, your ass would still be in jail.
And he could get another one with a fucking different team. Ugh. Oh. Sorry, I'm thinking about fucking football now. Anyway.
Yeah.
The next two are quite short, so I'll do them. It was no longer technically true that Flynn would be in jail, as he had received a post-election pardon from Trump, which very corrupt, by the way. But Flynn was furious. How does Flynn sound again? Oh, bollocks. I did a high-pitched one,
Yeah, high-pitched voice for that. Some sort of Welsh accent, maybe?
Don't mention me case, he roared. Hirschman responded.
Oh, he's Scottish now, is he?
I don't know what the voice that was. Anyway, where do you think Sydney got this information, sucker? It's becoming old Greg now. Oh, no.
Oh, my God, I haven't thought about old Greg for ages.
I got some mangina.
Anyway. Which this is so mental. It would make just as much sense if he did say that. I call this one Bailey's. Where do you think it came from? From the exact same people in the Department of Justice that you're now saying are corrupt. Byrne, wearing jeans, a hoodie, and neck gaiter, piped up with his own conspiracy.
Wonderful.
Oh,
Prospector
Burns, yeah, or Byrne.
I know how this works. I bribed Hillary Clinton $18 million on behalf of the FBI for a sting operation.
Yeehaw! Hirschman stared at. He bribed Hillary Clinton $18 million? Well, you should go to the FBI with that, because they haven't ever found anything against Hillary for that. So.
Yeah, well, just look at the reaction. It's brilliant.
Hirschman stared at the eccentric millionaire.
What the hell are you talking about? Why would
lower.
Sorry. What the hell are you talking about? Why would you do something like that?
Is that deep enough for you?
Yeah, well, he was more like a New Yorkie kind of guy.
Byrne brought up the bizarre Clinton bribery claim several more times during the meeting, to the astonishment of the White House lawyers, who I'm beginning to feel slightly sorry for, because this is fucking mental. They didn't sign up for this.
Trump,
they
for
signed
his
up
part?
mainly. I'm doing this one. They signed up mainly to keep kids in cages. They didn't want to deal with this.
Oh.
Anyway, Trump, for his part, which is very small, I've heard, it's like a mushroom with yeti pubes, also seemed perplexed by Byrne, but he was not entirely convinced the ideas Powell was presenting were insane. He asked, "You guys are offering me nothing. These guys are at least offering me a chance. They're saying they have the evidence. Why not try this?" The president seemed truly to believe the election was stolen, and his overriding sentiment was, "Let's give this a shot." Yeah. Because it didn't work, he would then try to do a fascist coup, which is nice, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep. The words martial law were never spoken during the meeting, despite Flynn having raised the idea in an appearance the previous day on Newsmax, a right-wing hive for election conspiracies. But this
Who
was
want to point out that they found no credible evidence, and please leave us alone, Dominion.
Please withdraw your suit. But this was a distinction without much of a difference. What Flynn and Powell were proposing amounted to suspending normal laws and mobilizing the U.S. government to seize Dominion voting machines around the country. Powell was arguing that they couldn't get a judge to enforce any subpoena to hand over the voting machines because all the judges were corrupt. She and her group repeatedly referred to the National Emergencies Act and a Trump executive order from 2018 that was designed to clear the way for the government to sanction foreign actors interfering in U.S. elections. These laws were, in the view of Powell...
Did that include incorporeal foreign actors?
Well, I think that's what they're arguing
The
here.
ghosts of communist leaders and things.
Yes, well, according to Powell.
Boating experts from North Korea going through Maine. Let's not forget that.
These laws were, in the view of Powell, Flynn, and the others, the key to unlocking extraordinary powers for Trump to stay in office beyond January 20th. Their theory was that because foreign enemies had stolen the election, all bets were off, and Trump could use the full force of the United States government to go after Dominion.
Because we've got crazy theories, let's just not have laws anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
Amazing.
It was go seize a bunch of a corporation's private property on no evidence whatsoever.
Yeah, all bets are off. In what situation are all bets off?
It was remarkable that the presidency had deteriorated to such an extent that this fight in the Oval Office between senior White House officials and radical conspiracists was even taking place.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's what you must always bear in mind in this. This shouldn't happen.
Never have happened.
This is a fucking stain on America.
Mm-hmm.
Who said Hirschman? How exactly are you going to do this? An exasperated Hirschman asked again later in the conversation. Newman again cited the 2018 executive order, which isn't a law, which prompted Hirschman to question out loud whether she was even a lawyer.
Prospector Burns comes
bitch.
in.
Then Byrne chimed in.
There you guys with big guns and badges who can get these things.
Hirschman couldn't believe it.
What are you, 3 years old?
He asked. Lyons, the state secretary, told the president that the executive order Powell and Flynn were citing did not give him the authority they claimed it did to seize voting machines. Well, what a surprise!
Yes.
Morgan, the campaign lawyer, also expressed skepticism about their idea of invoking national security emergency powers. To help adjudicate, Trump then patched in National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien on speakerphone. Trump's personal assistant brought O'Brien into the call with no explanation of the madness would await him. Fuck me. O'Brien said very little in the short time he was on the call, probably because his brain was fucking fried, but intervened at one point to say he saw no evidence to support Powell's notion of declaring a national security emergency to seize voting machines. There was so much fiery crosstalk, it was hard for anyone on the telephone to follow the conversation. Oh, Lordy.
Trump expressed skepticism at various points about Powell's theories, but he said, "At least she's out there fighting." That's not really good, Trump. I can't do one either. The discussion shifted from Dominion voting machines to a conversation about appointing Powell as a special counsel inside the government to investigate voter fraud. She wanted a top secret security clearance and access to confidential voter information.
I want to point out, this motherfucker is a QAnon follower. Mm-hmm. What the fuck kind of dangerous bullshit would it have been if she'd gotten that top security?
Yeah. Yes. Lyons told Trump he couldn't appoint Powell as a special counsel at the Justice Department because this was an attorney general appointment. Lyons, Cipollone, and Hirschman, in fact, the entire senior White House staff who were aware of the idea, were all vehemently opposed to Powell becoming a special counsel anywhere in the government.
And bear in mind, Cipollone is a fucking crazy bastard who defended Trump in the first impeachment.
Yes.
Like he's these are all right-wing cuckheads, all of them. And even they're like,
have these
no,
lines.
Yeah, Powell, no.
By this point, Trump had also patched into the call his personal lawyer, Giuliani.
Oh, when in doubt, call for Rudy. He knows what to do.
And White House Chief of Staff Mark
How
Meadows.
many fucking people are in this bastard conversation now? It's like a fucking ensemble cast we're going to have to do.
I mean, they should do like a reenactment on this on Saturday Night Live. With just like 800 people just crowded into a place by the end.
Yeah, the entire cast of Stump.
Yeah, and having them on a Zoom. That would be hilarious too. Like having.
Anyway. And that's another thing. None of these motherfuckers would have been wearing masks, like fucking coughing in each other's faces and licking
shouting
each
across
other's
the
sweat or
room.
something.
Yeah. Meadows indicated he was trying to wrap his mind around what exactly Powell's role would entail. He told Powell that she would have to fill out the SF-86 questionnaire before starting as a special counsel.
Again,
you
can tell this person is a steeped public servant in the general sense, because when in doubt, just get them bogged down in red tape. Get them to fill in some fucking forms. They'll soon lose fucking interest.
I'll do one more and then I'll hand it off to you. This was seen as a delaying tactic because it's Giuliani up next. I know you like that. The sense in the room was that Trump might actually greenlight this extraordinary proposal.
Fuck me.
At its essence, the Powell crew's argument to the president was this: we have the real information. These people, your White House staff, don't believe in the truth. They're liars and quitters. They're not willing to fight for you because they don't want to get their hands dirty. Put us in charge. Let us take control of everything. We'll prove to you that we're right what we're saying is right. We won't quit. We'll fight. We're willing to fight for the presidency. On some level, the argument was music to Trump's ears. He was desperate. Powell and her team were the only people willing to tell him what he wanted to hear, that a path to stay in power in the White House remained.
That's the most pathetic thing. He just a desperate.
So needy.
Yeah, genuinely it is the downfall meme. It's him in the bunker screaming at his generals.
Pretty much, yes. This is downfall. Yeah. The Oval Office portion of the meeting had dragged on for nearly 3 hours, creeping beyond 9 p.m.
I was actually going to... Oh, sorry, I was just going to say on the downfall, I was going to reprise a joke I did in a previous downfall meme I put out there on my YouTube channel of have the bit where Hitler's screaming in the bunker, and you know the bit where he goes to 9999. No, that's a different Hitler thing, isn't it? That's the Inglourious Bastards. Where he goes 999. I was going to look like, how many Diet Cokes have you had today, Donald? 99999. Anyway, sorry, go on.
The arguments became so heated that even Giuliani, still on the phone, at one point told everyone to calm down. One participant later recalled, when Rudy's the voice of reason, you know the meeting's not going well.
Oh, that's so true. When fucking melty-faced Giuliani is holding the thing together, Jesus. I'll do the next two because they're quite short.
Yeah, go ahead.
Giuliani told Trump he was going to come over to the White House and suck his balls. No, I did that bit. The president, having forgotten about the others on the line, hung up and cut multiple people off the call. Does Donald Trump not have object permanence? Like, he didn't even know they were still on the call because they hadn't spoken in like 10 seconds, and he's like a fucking guppy fish. Hirschman, and imagine the other people.
He is a guppy fish.
I'm a national security advisor for the President of the United States, and then the phone just goes dead.
Forgot about me.
You think, well, fuck it, I'm getting drunk then. Bollocks to it. I'm on the clock, I don't care.
Lyons is like, this is my last fucking day? This is my last fucking day?
Yeah, imagine that. Fuck, mate.
It's 9 o'clock. Why the fuck am I still at work on my last fucking day?
Yeah. Hirschman, Cipollone, and Lyons left the Oval Office, but soon discovered that the Powell entourage had made their way to the president's residence. What? So they're now having like a goose chase around Washington, D.C.? Fucking hell.
How does the music from Benny Hill go?
That
one.
Yeah. Exactly. That montage of the different people going out different doors.
In different rooms looking for Trump. And Trump just wandering around.
Skit.
Yes. Trump wandering around aimlessly.
And I'd have gotten away from it if it wasn't for you pesky 81 million Americans.
Yes.
Anyway. They followed them upstairs to the yellow Oval Room. Is that just because Trump pisses all over it? I don't know.
I was going to say, is that his golden showers room?
Ew. Trump's living room, possibly then. Where they were joined by Giuliani and Meadows. Trump sat beside Powell in armchairs facing the door, separated by a round wooden antique table. Giuliani sat in an armchair to the right of them, tucking his shirt in. No, I did that bit. While Byrne and Meadows sat on a... Oh, that was him. That was a Borat bit. See, I edited the Borat bit.
Yeah.
Sat on a couch. Byrne wolfed down pigs in a blanket and little meatballs on toothpicks that the staff had set on the coffee table. Okay. Oh. Hirschman was primed to brawl and ready to dump on Powell. Oh my God. It's gone from fucking golden showers to fucking Cleveland steamers.
What was that? Belgian biscuits?
Oh, Belgian biscuit. Yeah, but that's with glass. There's no glass.
Well, there might be a
here.
glass.
So,
there might be a glass table. You don't know.
Yeah, but I'm just going to go Cleveland steamer straight onto the chest.
Gross.
Of course, it's fucking gross, but people do it. We've all seen it.
No, people say they do it.
Well, I've seen people do it. It's a thing,
for money.
Kristi. For money, yeah, that's true. It had been a long day. I fucking bet it had. Hang on, who's still Hirschman? Right. Rudy, he said, turning to Giuliani. Sidney was just in the Oval Office with the president. You don't know what the fuck you're doing, right, Sidney? He turned to Powell. Why don't you tell Rudy to his face? Eric, really, it's not appropriate, Trump replied curtly. And Trump turned up and went, hey, oh, you mentioned me, Dad. No, not you, Eric. Jesus,
yeah.
Get out,
Go
you
away.
fucking diseased rat. Anyway, yeah.
Love your sister better.
He would absolutely kill for it, yeah. What's not appropriate? Hirschman shot back, turning to Powell. He said, why don't you repeat to Rudy that you just told the president in the Oval Office that he has no idea about the case and that he's only just begun to understand in the last few hours ago? A few hours ago. 3 days later, Giuliani would publicly distance himself from Powell, telling Newsmax that Powell did not represent the president and that whatever she's talking about, it's her own opinions.
Okay. Right. It didn't take long for the yelling to start up again. Now they were in hour 4 of a meeting unprecedented, even by the deranged standards of the final days of the Trump presidency. Now it was Meadows' turn, blasting Flynn for trashing him and accusing him of being a quitter. Don't you dare challenge me about whether I'm being supportive of the president and working hard, Meadows shouted, reminding Flynn that he'd defended him during his legal troubles. Trump and Cipollone, who frequently butted heads, were at it too, over whether the administration had the authority to do what Powell was proposing. Powell kept asserting throughout the night that she had or would soon produce the evidence needed to prove foreign interference.
She would soon produce any day now. It's going to be on Friday, and then when that doesn't happen, it's going to be next fucking Friday, and then it's 2 weeks, honest.
She kept insisting that Trump had the legal authority he needed to seize voting machines, but she did not have the goods. Powell at one point turned to Lyons and demanded, "Why are you speaking? Why are you employed here?" The staff secretary, who had already resigned, laughed and joked. Powell's voice should have always been higher.
No, but the staff secretary is not part of the quote.
Oh, right. Sorry, you're right. The staff secretary, who had already resigned and laughed and joked, said, "Well, I guess I'm here till midnight."
Go on, lad. It was after midnight by the time the White House officials had finally said their piece. They left that night fully prepared for the mad possibility Trump might still name Sidney Powell special counsel. "You have our advice," they told the president before walking out. "You decide who to listen to." That.
Can we just say, bless Jonathan Swan? Remember the guy who was the meme with the confused face and the charts?
Yeah.
He wrote this.
Yeah, he's done Australian chap, isn't he? I recall. Yeah, that was fucking mental.
So that was our first read through. We're still working on the voices, but
yeah, exactly. We're gonna have a proper round table with an ensemble cast and
yes,
whip it into shape, good and proper. Anyway, yeah, I wasn't even looking at the fucking thing because I had to keep this thing on the screen, so I have no idea what anyone was saying. If you heard any of that, no idea.
Yeah, they heard it.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah. Although someone said we really need some professional impressionists to do these voices.
Fuck you. Like, I'm not even going to do the fuck you. What do you want for free, dickheads?
Yeah, you don't even have to sit through ads on Kev's channel.
Exactly. And you never will, because it's still, fuck's sake, still, hang on, where are we?
Your request to be reviewed?
Yeah.
For your demonetization?
September the fucking 6th of 2020. Look. Fucking September the 6th of 2020.
Peter says, no offense, Kev. I think they're just saying it would be funny to see a professional.
Oh, no, whenever I swear it's fine. Trust me. Like yesterday with the dickhead who was calling out AOC, when I was examining, like, she'd her account of the 6th of January, and they were saying, like, oh, she's a, what was the phrase they used? Narcissist. Yeah. Go back and see my reaction to that person. That's when you know I'm angry. If I'm swearing at you, you're probably fine. Anyway, so on to bookmarks.
Yeah. Also, people are doing like they want to see a Muppets reenactment. I would like to see a Rick and Morty. Justin. Oh gosh, what's his name? Justin, whatever. The guy who does the voices of Rick and Morty. Yeah. He was the one who did the courtroom drama, if you remember.
Yes.
About the guy.
Well, in terms of Muppets, right? In terms of the Muppets, who would play who? Who would play Trump in the Muppets?
The bald eagle guy, maybe?
Well, I'm thinking he'd be more Flynn, because he looks a bit like Flynn.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay,
and
yeah,
he's
he's
done general
Animal?
stuff before. Maybe, yeah.
Hair?
But, I mean, who would Kermit? Kermit's going to have a leading role, because Kermit's like the only good actor, let's be honest.
Lions. He's got some sassy lines in there.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
And
Miss Piggy's got to be Powell just because of gender stereotypes.
Yeah, a call in the chat for Steve Shives to do a Stephen Stuffy version.
Oh, well, if someone gets in touch with Steve, yeah, definitely suggest that because I'd like to see that.
We'll help with the voice work. Yeah, we'll help with the voice work.
I think he's got that. I think, to be fair, Kristi, yeah. He's good at that, and
there's a lot of people though.
Yeah. Look, I can do barely literate Brummie. That's the only voice I can do, really.
Yeah.
And I do it very well. Anyway.
Yeah. Who was the guy, Cookie Monster for the low pitch gruff guy, Hunter or something, or Hirschman?
Hirschman. Yeah.
Yeah. He could be Cookie Monster. Could be Hirschman.
And if Steve does it, he's already got Prospector Jones, who can do the Prospector voice. So,
yeah.
You know. Anyway. Stay frosty, baby. Yeah, so on to bookmarks. This was unfortunate. London Evening Standard is the major newspaper in London, and for the vaccines are safe, and they're a path to freedom. That's the headline, right? Vaccines are safe, path to freedom. Guess what they did in the week of Holocaust Memorial Day?
I don't want to know, but you're going to show me anyway. What
Vaccines
the
are
fuck?
safe, path to freedom.
What the fuck? What?
Yeah.
What the actual fuck is that supposed to be? Who
very
thought that was a good
offensive.
idea? Who?
Yeah.
Someone should get fired.
Yeah.
Multiple people should get fired for this shit.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. The cat playing with a toy.
Ah.
But then I like it when they do this on the back legs. Yeah. Back
Yeah.
legs.
Scratch.
Oh, legend. Fire me dick unit.
I was taking a drink. That was a bad idea.
Fire me dick unit. It's a thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, this was amazing. Milo Yiannopoulos, ever one to make everything about himself, has put forward this idea. Astonishingly, the Proud Boys leadership